The breach at the Capitol is raising giant security questions today, and there's also new pressure on law enforcement to bring more of the rioters to justice. The FBI yesterday posting this notice, encouraging people to send in photos or videos of people involved in the Capitol insurrection. My next guest tweeted out, "Found one." You see it right there with a photo of President Trump. Democratic Congresswoman Karen Bass joins me now live. Congresswoman, it is good to see you, and I hope you are safe and well after the harrowing experience of yesterday. You tweet the photo of the president there. You also tweeted, and I can ask our control room to put them up on the screen, a string, I believe it numbered up to 10 at the end, of people involved in this. You're saying, okay, FBI, you want help? Arrest this man. Arrest this man. And you go on and on, arrest all the people in these pictures as it went on. What have you been told about how this happened? You're supposed to be in one of the most secure buildings in the world. I was here in town in 1998 when gunmen killed 2 Capitol Police officers bursting into that building.
First of all, thank you for raising the issue. I think that there has to be an absolute thorough investigation. The only information I have is anecdotal from talking to members of the Capitol Police and others that were around at the time, and basically they just described as being overwhelmed. The question is, why were they overwhelmed? Everyone knew this was going to happen. Why weren't they tracking social media? Why, frankly, why weren't the protesters, rioters, terrorists, why weren't they infiltrated? Why wasn't there undercover police officers that were there? This is the kind of thing that happens with other types of street protests. So I think there needs to be a thorough investigation.
And some of your colleagues and some activists around the country remember what happened back in June, and I think we may have some photos of this, when there were Black Lives Matter protesters here in Washington, and the Capitol was very well protected by police and other law enforcement in riot gear. Any explanation as to why that didn't happen?
Well, I mean, I think it's just an example of the double standard. Obviously, Black Lives Matter protesters were perceived as very threatening, and for some reason these weren't. John, you can't even come into the Capitol with a purse without it being screened. How can you break into the Capitol and walk around with flagpoles? And you see the Capitol Police right there. They were completely overwhelmed. Why did that happen? Why didn't they erect the barriers around the Capitol that are present now, the fences? I think a lot of this needs to be investigated. But it is so demoralizing, though, for people, in particular African Americans and other people of color, who know, if you could even imagine, if tens of thousands of young, old African Americans attacked the Capitol like that, what would have happened? I mean, it brings back memories of the boy Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin, who shot 3 people, walked with his gun in front of the police officers. They gave him something to drink and sent him home. 2 of them were killed. So we are just sick and tired of seeing the same type of double standard. And that's why I think there
I hope there's public accountability and transparency and discussion about what happened, because it's not just the members. You had the Vice President of the United States, the Vice President-elect of the United States, 535 members of Congress in that building, plus the staff who don't get enough credit, all the people who work so hard for our public servants, Democrats and Republicans alike. Let me turn your attention to another question. There are 13 days left of the Trump presidency. Soon-to-be Senate Majority Leader, currently the Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer, today said the president must go. He doesn't want to wait 13 days. He wants the cabinet to assemble, declare the president unfit by using the 25th Amendment, and remove him. And he says, if not, the Congress should impeach the president again. One of your colleagues, Ilhan Omar, and a number of other House Democrats have said, let's do that. Other House Democrats have written a letter to the Vice President saying, bring the cabinet in, Mr. Vice President, get rid of the President of the United States. With 13 days left, do you think Democrats should lead an effort, either through pressuring the cabinet or filing new articles of impeachment, to force this president out? Or do you just hold your breath and wait 13 days?
Well, I frankly don't think that the only thing you do is hold your breath and wait. But let me just say that I would love to see the president leave, be kicked out of the White House today with the 25th Amendment, and that's exactly what should happen. However, I don't believe that's going to happen at all, because I think the president has become a cult leader, and I think members of his cabinet are participants right along with him. So why would we expect them to have an act, to be courageous now, when they have stood by, been complicit, and even promoted his behavior for the last 4 years. I thought former Attorney General Barr had a lot of nerve talking about how the president has disrespected his office. What has Barr done over the last couple of years when he's been the Attorney General? In terms of impeachment, we know what would happen with impeachment. Do you expect the people who voted against certifying the election yesterday in the Senate to vote to impeach him today? I don't think that would make any sense, but I do think, and I am deeply concerned about how our country manages over the next 13 days.
Congresswoman, grateful for your time. This should be a time we're talking about the incoming administration's agenda and how it will fare in Congress. We will get back to those conversations in the days ahead. Congresswoman Karen Bass, grateful for your time. Thank you very much.